What's up guys, welcome back to Grafting Dragon Fruit. It's Richard, and in this video today I'm going to be giving you guys a fall update and what I plan to do moving into the winter season. And before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that I found a do-it-yourself pest control that's been helping my house become bug-free from ants, spiders, and cockroaches. Pesty only sends pro-grade products that works extremely well for a fraction of the cost. It's a quarter of the cost of normal pest control companies. You can cancel anytime and there's no contracts. This kit comes with everything you need, including this reusable electronic sprayer. It's so easy, anyone can do it. My home is about 1,600 square feet, and it took me about only 10 minutes to apply it everywhere. Pesty makes a customized treatment plan for you based on your climate and location. I love that the process is super simple and it delivers directly to my doorsteps. I never had to worry about bugs again. They only send you what you need and provide instructions on how to apply the treatment effectively. And the best part, Pesty is kid and pet friendly, so I never had to worry about my kids. Pesty offers a 100% bug-free guarantee or your money back, so protect your home and savings with Pesty today. Check out the link in the description below. Now let's get back to it. So if you guys know winter, it is not forgiving for dragon fruit. So you gotta make sure you do all of these maintenance before it goes into full-blown winter season. And what happens during winter season is it just gets really cold, really wet, so you get more of the cactus, rust, and all of those rotting starts to happen easier. So what I'm going to do today is doing a lot of pruning, cleaning up, and removing varieties that I don't want anymore, so that way it doesn't attack those branches, and then if those branches get sick, it can spread to others. So we can minimize things by just removing them, and that's what I'm going to do today, you guys, okay? So in my basket here, I have my harvest basket with all of the tools that I need. Have some gloves for handling fruits and branches, some shears to cut the fruits and branches, and this brush is to brush any of the fruits that has thorn on it. And for any overgrown dragon fruit that's starting to grow too much, I have some garden tape here as well to make sure I can tie them all up and get them to grow where they need to be. All right, so we're gonna start with Condor here. So Condor looks great. It doesn't look like I have to do much with it. It has a lot of good growth. The canopy is looking fine. There's not a lot of overgrowth growing over it, and not too many branches overlapping each other where it's preventing it from fruiting. Or if it does fruit, the branch isn't overlapped where the fruits can get entwined or compressed by the branches, and sometimes that gives it deformed fruits. So with Condor, I'm very happy. So if your dragon fruit already looks like that, then that's great, okay? We're gonna move on to my next trellis. This is Vietnam White. So during the summertime, that heat really did a damage on my Vietnam White. But what I did beforehand was just removing all of those branches. So you guys already see that I have a lot of cuts being made. And that was me just removing all of the rotted branches, all of the scorched, sunburnt branches, and having it repair itself by just giving it all the good, healthy branches to start shooting out more branches. And if you guys can't see, there's actually a Vietnam White fruit still hanging on right back there. It's blending in with the green, but it's right there. So we're gonna have a winter Vietnam White ripening once it's ready. Okay, next one here, I have Townsend Pink. Townsend Pink's also doing very good. I already removed all of the sick branches, all of the branches that were also sunburned, and anything that was overlapping or looking weak, I also removed them as well. During this time, you guys, this is what I would like to do. I'll come out here to inspect small branches. So something like this is at the center. I know it's not gonna really grow anymore because it rounded off at the tip already. So once it does that, it's just gonna be a small branch here, and all of these new branches are gonna grow over it and kind of overlap it. So what I'm gonna do is, we're just gonna go ahead, remove any small branches that I don't think is gonna do too well. And I'll leave that there. If I need it, I'll either graft them or I can turn them to cuttings, young cuttings, and just grow them out. But other than that, just basically, yeah, removing more branches like this one here. Doesn't look like it's gonna do much. And this one I'm gonna leave because it's a little big already, so this might fruit during the upcoming season. So branches that are a little bit 8 inches or above, I kind of just keep them for one season. Once it fruits, then I remove them because it's already so big, I don't want to waste that nice growing branch. Okay guys, here is Sugar Dragon. Sugar Dragon has been very active ever since the beginning of the season. If you guys have been following along with all of my updates every time the weather changes or a new season comes, then you know Sugar Dragon is a fruit producing machine. It started very early. It started producing me buds actually in May and April. During that time, April or May, I had buds and Sugar Dragon fruits basically fruiting throughout the whole season, and it is now November and it still has fruits on it, you guys. Some new fruits that just bloomed maybe about a couple of weeks ago, and they're already on their way to becoming nice sized dragon fruits. And even though the weather has changed, we had time change and we're getting less hours of sunlight, the fruits are still growing pretty good size here. This is a sugar dragon. They're typically always small, but for a sugar dragon to stay consistently this size at the end of the season, that's very impressive. And I never have to worry about them not being sweet because sugar dragon is always sweet. I can harvest them early, late, and the sugar content or the brick score on that is always going to be very high. So if you're not growing sugar dragon, I highly recommend it. Like I just said, it's a fruit producing machine. I've had fruits growing from this mother plant here for about 6 or 7 months already, and it's probably going to end maybe in January is when I'll probably harvest the last of these fruits. So sugar dragon is doing well. A lot of new branches growing, which is good. Some are being overlapped here, but you know, they grow and they kind of swerve from each other and start growing. So I'll let those continue to keep growing until they get to a size. And if it looks like they're entwining or blocking each other, that's when I'll do some more pruning. But right now, it looks great. Here are some new trellises that I've started. This is Pink Panther, still very new. Don't have to do too much to it. Still letting the canopy grow out. But the one thing I've been having trouble with is caterpillars and slugs eating at my tip of my growth. So I've been waiting for this to canopy out, and it should have been canopied out already, but you guys see all of these rounded spots here. Here's one, here's another rounded spot here, and another one here. This is because caterpillars got to them, ate the tip, but new growth is growing now, but now it just delayed my progress for this trellis. If I were on top of it and I sprayed some Monterey insect spray, it could have prevented the caterpillars from eating at it, but I didn't get a chance to do that because I've been so busy this summer and this year. Never got a chance to do that, so I've been just manually coming out here, finding those caterpillars and removing them from the branches myself. So keep an eye on that. November time is when caterpillars are very active at laying their or butterflies, moths, or whatever, laying their eggs, and that's when caterpillars will hatch and you have them start eating at your growth. Here is American Beauty. I just started this trellis last season, so they're still doing very good with growing its canopy. I expect it to fruit this upcoming season, but at this point, I'm just basically letting all of the top growth grow, and anything on the top grows, that's fine. But if I see any little suckers like this underneath the canopy, you see one right here, you're gonna remove that. So there you go, and that's gone. Here's another one. They're small and you can't really see them now, but just make sure you guys do your rounds. Look behind them, look underneath your canopy, and you guys will find those little growths growing everywhere. All right, we're gonna go to my newest trellis. I actually just planted all of this last season, and these were my new Asunta 6 varieties that I've been just growing out into mother plants, so that way I have more cuttings for you guys, because I know you guys have been waiting for these varieties. Here's a Nectar Sunrise, and this is where I'll start doing all the cleaning and pruning. I already have one main branch here, and you guys always hear me talk about having one main branch until it grows to the very top. And once it gets to the top, like this one here, you're gonna cut about 1 inch off of it and leave about 1 inch on the top. And this one's already putting out a lot of new growth, so it's doing exactly what I want. You guys see little buds forming here and there. Those are new branches, so I know this one is gonna take lead for the main branch. So I no longer need this one. And now we're just cutting things, labeling them, so that way you guys won't forget what it is. So this is Nectar Sunrise. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Nectar Sunrise. Okay, and I'll leave this cutting here. And look at this, guys. This is what it looks like when the caterpillars are eating at your growth. Give me 1 second. I'll show you guys exactly. So it's actually hiding in there. All these holes gives me a sign, but if I move that, there it is. That little yellow dot right there is what's causing all of that damage. And that's what you guys want to look out for. Come out here, capture them as soon as possible, and just smush them. So that way they don't continue to start eating them. So that is exactly what I want you guys to see when you guys are looking for those caterpillars. They're very small. They do major damage like what you guys just saw on that one there. So be very wary of them, okay? All right, so next one here, I have Berry Breath. So this one's a very good grower. It's been putting out a lot of growth. Like I said, the caterpillars or slugs got to this one, but luckily for me, I already have 2 new growth growing. I see one is bigger, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off this one. Now it's gonna focus all of its energy in this growth here. It's gonna grow very fast. I also see more branches budding here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take those off because I already have one main growth growing. This one is getting so big and so heavy that it's already like falling down, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. Here's another one. I like this one because it's already close to the post. Even though this one is bigger, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it and use it as a cutting instead. And always label your cuttings right away. I used to be one of those guys where I will cut cuttings. I'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll remember what it is later. And literally in a week, I'm like, wait, what cutting was that? I should have labeled it. So I make it a very good practice now to always label my cuttings as soon as I cut them because it's so easy to forget once you have so many varieties. Okay, we got 2 berry breaths here, and I just also like to leave it into their container. So when I come back to it, I know exactly what it is, it's labeled, so I know that's like almost a double cross-reference of what the variety is. Okay, just checking the back, I don't see anything. All right, we're moving on. Here is Pixie Sky. So Pixie Sky has been doing very well. Has all of the main growth. I've been really focusing these main growths to grow up, so I've been really trimming them, making sure they're growing really fast. And they've gone to the point where I'm satisfied of them now. So as you can see, the main stalk has grown about over an inch past. So what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead, take about an inch and a half off. This one hasn't quite grown over the top yet, but it's okay. Once I remove the tip, it's gonna really force its energy to create new branches. So all these little tips are just gonna go. And these ones are gonna start canopying out now because I just did that. Here is Berry Breath. So Berry Breath, one of my cuttings here was doing very good, but then this started to slow down. So when I see signs of slowing down like this, it means that it's either trying to put all of its growth into this one or it doesn't have enough fertilizer. So later today, after I finish all of my maintenance and cleaning, I'm definitely gonna come back and fertilize all my pots. But this one is bubblegum. Bubblegum. So this little growth here looks like it's very healthy. It's very close to the trellis. I just got to tie this up later and continue to lead this to the very top. And let me just check. All right, yeah, see, so another one here. I have 2 growth here, only need 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this other bubblegum cutting here. Label it. Okay, take a look around, everything looks good. And if you guys haven't noticed yet, yes, I did started to create new trellis designs, you guys, and this is actually going to be a part of my course where I'm going to teach you guys how to build it like this, so it's a lot stronger. If you guys look at me, hang on this, it's really strong, like I can try to pull it down and it doesn't bend anymore. So this final version here is tough and it's going to last, so I'm really glad that I did this one. Okay, we're gonna move on to all of the other trellis here. This is Thai Gold. Thai Gold has been making really good progress. It's starting to actually really canopy out where my Sour Patch Watermelon and my Thai Gold is colliding. I recently got this drum dolly where it helps me move all of these pots easier. So I'm gonna be doing that later where I'm gonna reposition these pots so they have more room to grow with each other. I want at least 3 to 4 feet in between them. But for right now, we're just gonna do some cleaning, make some plans of what to do with them. Here's another Thai Gold. So yeah, during the fall time, I do get some cuttings and they do grow pretty crazy like this here. Here's a Sour Patch Watermelon, and this is not what I want. Yeah, A lot of growth growing up here, but also a lot of growth growing underneath it. I've been kind of just letting them grow because I need more cuttings of Sour Patch watermelon. If you guys don't need the cuttings, just go ahead and remove them at all. But because I need cuttings, this is why I left them. But now they're ready. They're about over 12 inches long. They're getting really nice and thick and plump, so they're definitely ready. Let's go ahead and take all these out, and I'll just leave them right here. Here's another one. I really let these go because my Sour Patch watermelon trellis actually got damaged when I moved to this house. So I had to start this trellis over, and I don't have a lot of cuttings in, so now I have a mother plant. Got some more young cuttings here that I can finally share with everyone. So that's the main reason why I kept them. We're getting a really good amount here, and they're also nice, plumped and healthy, which makes me very happy with how they look. Wow, this one got so big it even toppled over. Something small like this, you guys, I don't keep. Kind of just cut and we'll toss them. This one is, ooh, nice and long one. Even though it's lengthy, it still makes a perfectly good cutting. All right, so I'm pretty happy with everything here. Looks good. Lots of Sour Patch watermelons, but I'm gonna leave it in this pot here so I know exactly what it is, so I can come back to label all of that, okay guys? All right, now we're gonna go to our main area where these are all mature dragon fruits already. They've been fruiting, varieties that I've started to graft and grow, and I've been experimenting with them to see if I like. So let's go ahead and start with this trellis. This is my Asunta 6 trellis where I have Pixie Sky, Nectar Sunrise, Bubblegum, and one called Tropical Skies. So out of those four, Tropical Skies was maybe one that I did not like as much. Nectar Sunrise was very good, Pixie Skies was very good, and I also really like the Bubblegum. That one might be my favorite out of all of them. But the Tropical Skies just did not perform every season. I had it for about 3 years now. And Tropical Skies has this tendency to not release its petals when it's ready to flower. So sometimes the flowers would get stuck and they will never fully bloom. And I do not like that at all because you can actually miss the pollination process because of that. So because of that one reason, and even though the fruit tastes somewhat good, it's just not optimal to have, and I do not want to spread a variety that just doesn't grow its best. So what I'm doing today, guys, is I'm gonna completely remove Tropical Skies from this trellis, and we're just gonna toss it away and just not release it to the public. So if you guys have it, you guys are more than free to grow it, but for me, I'm gonna toss it. If you guys wanna follow along with what I'm doing, go ahead and just get rid of your Tropical Skies if you guys have it, okay? All right, so I know which one is Tropical Skies. It's a very vigorous, good grower. So I'm just gonna start with just trimming out all of the big branches. So this one is, let's see here. This one is Tropical Skies here. So guys, this is gonna hurt me because this is basically my baby. I've been growing it for the last 3 years, but you can't be too attached to it because once you get too attached to it, you're never gonna get rid of the varieties that are not good tasting. So look at how thick, healthy these branches are, but it just did not make the cut. I've got to be very careful with what I'm removing and make sure I only remove the Tropical Skies variety because it would totally suck if I remove a variety that I actually wanted to keep. And this is what I do during the fall, you guys, is this is a great time to just start removing all of the varieties that you did not want because they're not producing fruits, they're not doing much growing, they're basically hibernating. So it's a really good time to do this because then once it hits springtime, that's when all of that energy is focused into all the growth. So the very great time to start pruning and removing varieties you don't want. All right, so let me just go ahead and speed up this process by cutting everything and making sure I get only the Tropical Skies. Some of these has grown so strong where the cambium is super thick, so I can't even cut it with my really good shears. Let's start here. There you go. Nice and thick cambium, you guys. You can see it's starting to put out a lot of this new growth, and I don't want it to waste its energy putting out growth like this anymore. I'd rather have it spend its energy on the varieties that matter. Okay, it looks like I've got all of the main big cuts, so I just have the grafting point left. So this is when I grafted the seed. This is the Tropical Sky seedling here. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna cut it at its base. Ooh, which is probably all wood by now. It's been here for 3 years. Yep, it's really strong. Oh, but I got it. Wow. Check out that cambium, you guys. It's just straight wood. This is what happens once they get mature. It just becomes really woody, and eventually this will become a whole bark once it fully matures. So goodbye, Tropical Skies. This is the grafting point of Tropical Skies here. And just to make sure it doesn't continue to grow, I also got to remove where I grafted at. So here it is, guys. The grafting point of Tropical Skies was right here. This is Vietnam White, and it's been making a lot of progress, but you know what? Gotta leave all of that room for these other grafts that I have here. This is the Pixie Sky, and then this one has actually never fruited. So this is another Asunta 6 that has never fruited before. It's finally putting out new growth. So hopefully removing that Tropical Skies is now going to push all of its energy on this one that hasn't fruited for me yet. So it's been a good 3 years. So hopefully the 4th year, I finally see some fruit in this one to see if it's worth keeping. Okay, so that's all I needed to do with this trellis. It looks good now. Everything is pruned. Got rid of the variety that I didn't want. So I'm very happy with that. Going on to the next. Now we're just gonna go ahead and harvest fruits that's been hanging out once we went to the fall season. So here is a cotton candy variety, and this variety is a very, very sweet variety. And that's why it's named cotton candy, self-sterile, but you can see that it's starting to crack already at the cone. So you guys know that this is at its sweetest. So we're gonna take this in. No need to leave it out any longer. Even though the skin is still green, some varieties will do that. But if you guys see the flesh here start to crack, you know it's more than ready. And cotton candy, I know it's a very sweet variety. So I'm definitely ready to take that in. All right, so we have cotton candy, Vietnam red, and Connie Meyer on here. Only cotton candy had fruits. We have some more cotton candy fruits here that's still ripening. They're small, but they'll eventually start to get all ready. But for now, we only have one. Moving on to my next trellis here. Another variety that I need to remove is this Townsend G2. G2 Townsend. G2 Townsend is a very good variety, but the only one thing I don't like about it is it's a self-sterile variety. There's so many guatemalensis variety that tastes just as good as G2 without having to cross-pollinate it. And it gets sick very easily once it starts to get cold. As you guys can see, right next to it I have, this is Natural Mystic, and this is Townsend G2. They're nice and healthy, but just overall, they don't take the sun too well. They don't take the cold too well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this variety as well. So G2 is actually gonna be removed. There is one G2 fruit here, so I'll leave it until that one ripens. But other than that, I'm just gonna start cleaning some of this up so I know to go back to this and completely remove it once I'm ready. All right, so we have a cutting here. I might just leave this. If anybody wants G2, I have one really good cutting of it, but the rest is gonna have to go. And once that fruit's ready, I'm gonna go ahead and totally remove that. And you guys can see my neighbor's orange tree starting to ripen. So we're getting a lot of oranges, and eventually she'll share those with me. Okay, so we got G2, Coastal Recensis, and Natural Mystic, all doing well. Not a lot of cactus rust, not a lot of cleaning up to do. Here, you guys see, this is a new variety that just flowered for me last season. It's called Melon Berry. And as you can see, Melon Berry did not like the cold. It's starting to actually do a lot of the cactus rusting here. You can see that it's starting to rust. But other than that, it's not molding. The branches are still very strong and tight, so I'm not too concerned about it. But here I can see that it's actually starting to get fungus where it's molding here, and it's getting soft. So the texture of this is going to start getting very mushy. So what I need to do is later, once the sun goes down, get some copper fungicide, spray at this and make sure that it doesn't spread no more so I can, let this scab up and heal. And it has done that last season where this is what it does. It'll scab up like this, heal, and then produce fruit the next season. So this variety here is a little bit more sensitive, but the fruit that it makes is so amazing, so it's worth the trouble to have. Behind it, you guys see my Pink Panther. Pink Panther is a very good variety, self-fertile, just like Sugar Dragon. It's been producing fruits all season long, and I've actually sold a bunch of cuttings from it, and now it's starting to reproduce all of its cuttings again. So I did a lot of cuts for my events, but I'm very happy to see that it's recovering, pushing out a lot more branches, and then that way I can get more fruits this upcoming season, and then maybe share a few more branches for you guys. Okay, this is Thai Gold, White Sapphire, and Sour Patch Kids. Lots of Thai Gold branches growing. New shoots are growing everywhere. So this is a really good time to start fertilizing with your earthworm casting. I love, love, love to use Vermisterra during the winter time. Let me just grab that, show you guys. I love using Vermisterra during the fall and winter time, and this is what I'll use all the way up into season starts. This is just really good fertilizer that you can just use as much as you want, never over fertilize, and it's actually really good for your plants. It builds its immunity, it heals it from being sick, and just makes it a lot better. So all that cactus stress I have, if I continue to just keep watering every feeding with this earthworm casting from Vermisterra, they'll slowly start to just heal on its own, and I wouldn't have to remove all those branches or spray too much copper fungicide. So this I've got to be on top of during the fall and winter time to maintain the health of my plants. You're gonna see really robust growth, really nice and healthy green growth, and that sickness and illness and diseases really comes to a minimum once I start really feeding them all of this. All the microbiology that's gonna go into the soil is gonna really help them. So we'll do this at the very end. But moving along, I have Frankie's Red here, Cosmic Charlie, Edgar's Baby, and another Sugar Dragon that I just have here. So this trellis hasn't been doing very well. I'm starting to think that the roots into this pot are starting to overtake each other. So I'm gonna have to remove this trellis and start most of them over. So Cosmic Charlie, Frankie's Red, and all these varieties, I already took cuttings and put it into my greenhouse. So once they're ready, that's when I'll start repotting this. So this one needs a lot of work, so I'm not even gonna touch it because it needs to be totally redone. So it's good to go out here, see what's doing good, and reassess your plants. And if you guys need to restart your trellis over, totally do that, because if you plant them from cuttings, they can fruit within a year. So it's not that much time that you guys lose. But if you catch on to it early, you can get fruits sooner. All right, this trellis gets a little bit more interesting. I have a huge purple haze right here that's been screaming to get harvest. It's really red, the colors are all vibrant, the bracts are now starting to almost turn brown and starting to wilt away, so it's ready. And the cone is starting to want it to burst. And if I do the wiggle test, it's wiggling very well. So let's go ahead and take this purple haze out. This is the last purple haze of the season. And I love purple haze. Purple haze is one of those varieties that tastes absolutely amazing. And no matter whoever I give it to, they always really like this variety. They always like, what is that? And that one's really good. So very excited to end the season with a really good fruit like this one. We got Cotton Candy and Purple Haze. Those two are gonna be delicious. All right, guys, so Desert King is one of those varieties that likes to flower at the end of the season, and then they start to have ripe fruits in like the fall winter season. Luckily for me, I have a bunch of them already ripe, and it's mid-November. So I'm gonna go back to the back of this trellis here. That's where they're all at, and start harvesting them. I have a brush here because they have thorns, so I gotta brush them, and then we'll start taking them out. So let's go ahead and get under here. All right, as you can see, it all fruited in the back of my trellis. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fruits, 8 Desert King fruits. So actually one of them I pollinated with Thai Gold. So this is a new hybrid that I'm very excited to grow the seeds out. Desert King crossed with Thai Gold. I'm very interested of what this will produce if they start to sprout and germinate. So yes, they do have a lot of thorns, but once you guys brush them off with a brush like that, they come off very easily. And here's our first one. So this one is special because it's pollinated with Thai gold. So there's actually new hybrids within this one. I'm gonna leave this one in the pot so I know to label that later. But the rest of the fruits I'm gonna take off, put into my harvest basket, and then we're gonna enjoy these fruits later. So let's just start harvesting all of these other Desert Kings. Make sure you wear gloves because these thorns are small, and when they poke, they hurt a lot. I used to not mind them, but now I'm at a point where I don't want to get poked by dragon fruit thorns anymore. Sometimes they're so small and they get lodged into your skin. They'll be in there for about a week or longer, so did not like the feeling of that. It was very uncomfortable. So as you guys can see, I did a lot today. There's fruits to harvest, varieties I needed to take out, a lot of cuttings I needed to take off as well. So that way I can start preparing them into cuttings. But I think my favorite part is always coming out to harvest the fruit. Sometimes I can get really lost out here for a long time. I come out here to do one thing, but once I see fruits, I kind of focus my attention on them a little bit more, and then I don't really get any chores done. So don't be like me. If you guys come out here, make sure you guys get your chores done, especially if you have kids like me. So I'm very limited on time and what I can do in my garden now, but once I do have a day, I really make full use of my day and do everything. Okay, I think this is the last Desert King here. There's one in the front. This one's a different one. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab all these fruits, and I'll see you guys right outside. All right, so I have another one right here. We're gonna go ahead and take that one off too. So Desert King is very, very productive. Once it's time for it to start producing fruits, they really start to throw out. And I hear that they are self-fertile, but I never got a chance to pollinate them with his own pollen because it never really has pollen. Desert King is one of those varieties that does not produce a lot of pollen. So I'm always cross-pollinating them anyways, but check out that great batch of Desert King. This is gonna be like candy, and my kids will love it. Everybody will love it because they're just so good tasting. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put them in here with everyone else. So far, we have really good tasting varieties, you guys. These are all really sweet tasting varieties. You cannot miss with any of these. So that's really cool. Okay, I didn't forget about the one that I crossed with. This is my new hybrid. So that's what I will typically do, guys. I'll save one fruit where I'll make a hybrid out of them. So this is Thai Gold. This is Desert King. So I'll put DKXTG to know that it's crossed with Thai Gold. So this one I won't eat. I'll collect the seeds with this one so that way I can grow them out. Okay. I'm very happy I finally got to that because the fruit's been sitting around for a really long time and I was afraid the purple haze was gonna pop. So I'm very happy that we got it off. Now it's gonna be a really good tasting fruit. Okay, so next here I have Wild Berry Skittles and Asunta 6. This trellis looking good. Not a lot is happening here. Lots of new growth, no maintenance needed. Here, wow. This is troublesome, you guys. So these are all the new branches from, this is from Sunset Sherbet, but look at all this damage that's been done. You guys see that? Wow, here it is. This caterpillar, it's been really making its home in there. And there's just not one, there's multiples of them. Wow, 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 wow. So what I'm gonna do, guys, just go ahead and remove them. They haven't really damaged the tip yet, so those look okay. But each and one of these branches has a caterpillar. They really dig themselves in. Look at that. Wow. Not cool, not cool. Okay, I don't want to kill this on camera. But this is what happens. Once they start eating at them, they start to ruin all these branches. So many of them. I should have came out here way earlier. Look, here's another one. These pests are horrible, guys. So just try your best to get them and then remove them. They will come right back and eat more if you guys don't. All right. Wow, there goes the progress of our sunset sherbet. These branches were gonna, become bigger, mature, and hopefully fruit the next season, but that always slows them down. So that's why I tell you guys, come out here, capture those caterpillars early, because that can happen, and when that happens, you're just gonna be left with a heartache. All right, guys. So really need to redo this trellis. The wood I used was cedar wood, and even though the wood didn't crack, it's actually the hardware. All of the screws started to break. I'm very surprised the wood is still hanging on. But I already took cuttings of all of this. We're gonna make its own trellis for every single one of these varieties. When I started this trellis here, I was testing to see which varieties I like before I committed to one trellis. Now that I know, I'm gonna have that all fixed and done. So don't worry about this one. It's at its last leg now. This is Palora. These are Palora that I grafted from a stem from a market. So they've been doing very good. One thing different that I've been doing with Palora is I've been removing every single one of these flowers and only leaving one bud per branch. And Palora is one of those varieties that like to really put out a lot of buds. And if you guys don't control them, they can have a lot. So what I've done this season was I went out here, and every time a new bud would come out, I'll just break them and leaving only one. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna focus all of its energy into that one bud, so that way I get bigger fruits and not a bunch of small little Paloras like I usually do, because once they kind of bloom, I kind of just let them go because they're self-fertile. They will pollinate themselves, so you guys don't even have to pollinate them. And I've had that happen for me multiple seasons because they like to flower at the end of the season, and once it gets, during that time, it gets dark earlier, and sometimes I forget to come out here and check. But to my surprise, they've been pollinating themselves, and I would see fruits growing, so it's really nice. So this one, I don't have to do much. I don't see double buds growing on any of the branches besides this one here, okay? So this is what I'm gonna do. There's a bud here and a bud here. This one's bigger. I only want one, so we're gonna go ahead and just take that one off. And that's what I've been doing, guys. Taking multiple buds off of them and just leaving one per branch, so that way we get really nice big Paloras this season. So if that works, now I'm gonna show you guys all the fruits once they ripen, but we're gonna let those go. This is an Asunta 3. I just started a new trellis of this, and this has been growing crazy. They grow so well. This is actually only half a year of growth, guys. So Asunta 3 is one of those that once it takes off and has established roots, it just really goes. So I'm gonna have to come back here to prune a lot of this. But what I'm gonna need to do is, like what I just showed you guys earlier with the Townsend Pink, a lot of small growth here that isn't growing from the center. So they're gonna have to go. Double branches like this, I only want one. This one's colliding with this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. And yeah, it's looking good right now. We'll go back to this and totally clean this up, because if I just start to focus, it might take too long, and I don't want to drag this video on for you guys. This trellis is actually one of the coolest trellis right now in my garden. This is a Asunta 4 cross with Sunset Sherbet. So Sunset Sherbet crossed with Asunta 4. The fruit's still ripening, but this is a new variety. I haven't not tasted yet, so I'm very excited to see what this comes out. And I have cherry gushers on here, which we tried for the very first time of this season. Bricks at 24%, almost like 25%. So it was really cool. And I got a new one I call Jurassic Guava. This is Asunta 5 crossed with Asunta 4, and this fruit has been really, really good. I have such high hopes for this one, and I can't wait for everyone to actually try Jurassic Guava, because it's a very, very good variety. So different from what I've been seeing from my whole collection. So that one's gonna be a showstopper for sure. But waiting for those fruits to ripen, so we'll wait on those. Here I have pink Laverne, and I snucked a CFA DK16 on here, and out of all the Desert Kings, the CFA DK16 has probably been the best tasting and the most prolific grower. It really puts out a lot of fruits, you guys. It flowers like crazy, and it also flowers very early in the season, not like the other Desert King where it waits to the end of the season. So I was actually getting to eat the DK16's fruits early in the season. So if you guys are looking for a Desert King to grow, the DK16 from Australia is the one to grow. But here I have some red Laverne fruits that look like they should be taken off now. Let's see here. Where is the point? Oh, right here. Okay. They're not changing colors too much right now because of the coldness and not a lot of sunlight, but they're really stretching and getting really plumped here. So might as well take this one off and we'll see how it is inside. There's another one right here, you guys. It's pretty loose, getting pretty plump there. Gonna go ahead and just take that off as well. And our basket here is slowly getting full, but we still got a few more to harvest, but we're almost done with our little tour, our fall update here. All right, guys, so this is my Sour Patch Kids. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for cuttings of this one, so that is why you guys see so many lower growth happening. You know me, I never let this happen unless I'm trying to share cuttings with everyone. So this definitely needs to be pruned now. I cannot leave this any longer. It's wasting all of its energy. I wanted to focus all up here so when the season comes, my canopy is mature and I can get lots of fruits. So here is Sour Patch Kids. Really love Sour Patch Kids because the fruits taste like candy. They are self-fertile, and sometimes they can grow and self-pollinate itself if the anatomy is close to each other. But most of the time, I like to come out here and use its own pollen, self-fertile, to have fruits. So we have really nice cuttings here. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at this nice one that's starting to bend because it's trying to latch onto this with its aerial roots. Is that 2, 4, 6, 7? This small one, upkeep just to grow. More lower growth here. Wow. I was really letting all these growth grow. And yeah, guys, I will be putting all these Sour Patch Kids cutting onto my website. So if you guys do want them, they will be there. I'll do a little announcement. So if you guys are not signed up to my newsletter, that's where I send out the announcement to all of your emails to let you guys know when cuttings are ready. So make sure you guys sign up to my newsletter to know when these cuttings will be dropped. So I've got about 8 or 10 Sour Patch Kids cutting that will go on the website later. Okay guys, here's another Palora of mine. So during my early stages, when I was growing dragon fruit and grafting, I was so obsessed with grafting Ecuador Palora. And I have about 3 trellis of them. So this season, I'm gonna actually just remove 2 trellis and only keep 1 Ecuador Palora because I wanna start adding more of my new hybrids. But the same rule applies for this season. I'm actually removing all the buds from every single branch and leaving only 1 bud per branch. And if I see doubles, you'll start seeing me taking them off, like this one here. I want to focus all the energy on this one. This is a new bud. Go ahead and just plop it off. Here's one that's actually aborting. So sometimes they will pollinate themselves, but this one didn't actually get to do it. It's turning yellow. So I don't want it to waste its energy. Go ahead and just remove it. But other than that, I'm seeing 1 per branch. And I need to definitely harvest this one soon. But I'm saving this for a separate video. And I'll be showing you guys like maybe 5 to 6 different tips or best tips on how to grow Palora. Because I know Palora is one of those varieties that not a lot of people have a lot of information from. So I like to make a video on how to grow Palora the best and get lots of fruits and get fruits the fastest you can. So that'll be a fun video to create. So if you guys are interested in that video, leave in the comments below and I'll definitely upload that soon. Here's the 3rd trellis of Ecuador Palora that I was just talking about to you guys. As you can see, I have a lot of Palora fruits coming. I can easily say there's about 50 Palora fruits that's gonna be ripe by February. And same rules applies to this one. I've been taking off every single one and leaving only 1. So no doubles on a branch, and starting to really love the results because look at how nice they're growing. They're getting to a size that's like almost those giant Paloras from the store sometimes that you would see. Okay, moving on. This is wild berry Skittles. I finally made mother trellises of it. One thing I've learned about wild berry Skittles is I'm starting to think that it's a variegated variety. Anybody that owns wild berry Skittles, are you guys seeing that it starts to variegate like this? They never get weak or mushy or molded. It just turns half green, half yellow like this. But they still grow very fine and very healthy. So I'm starting to see that on a lot of my branches. So I'm starting to think that this is a variegated variety. And sometimes when the fruit grows, I also see different colors on the fruit, like 3 or 4 colors. It's really cool. Yes, let me know if you guys are having the same variegation with your wild berry Skittles like mine, because this is starting to look pretty awesome. Here's Asunta 6. This is wild berry Skittles' sister. No variegation at all, but grows really nice, healthy branches. They get very thick, very productive with growth. So really liking how this progress is going far. They've been growing on their own rootstocks and they've been growing very good. I didn't graft them. So knowing that, that's very assuring that they grow well with their own rootstock. Here is Red Laverne. Red Laverne is at its end of the season. No more fruits until next season come in. But there are a lot of branches that I want to start to remove, like this one here. So once I see branches that just are dying off, some mush is happening, aesthetically, I just want to remove them anyways. And Laverne Red is one of those varieties, they'll grow their branches right back super fast. So don't worry too much about it, guys. Here's another one. Like I said, if you guys take care of all of your pruning now during the fall season, new branches will start to appear up very quickly. And by the time summer, spring hits, they're going to be mature enough already to fruit. So really do all of your pruning now, so that way you can start getting all of those new branches coming soon. This is another one that's starting to get pretty beat up in here. But I know the cambium on this is pretty thick, so I'm going to have to start chipping at this to getting it to break off. Sometimes the cambium gets so big that this happens. All right, guys. That's all that needs to be removed. So here is Grape Pop. Grape Pop is doing very good. Nothing needed to be done. And all that's left is to harvest the fruits from Lisa, and then we're all set. All right, let's go ahead and get this off. Here's the Lisa fruit. And one more here. I'm starting to see the cone cracking, so that's very good. Okay guys, so that is the fall update. I hope you guys enjoyed everything I did today. If you guys have any questions, you know to always ask. And if you guys liked what you guys saw today, please hit the like button. If you guys have any questions with what I did today, leave in the comments below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And if you guys have not subscribed to this channel yet, hit that subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Grafting Dragon Fruit. Peace.